Hi, folks. This is going to be another stroll down Dave's memory lane. Uh, as most of you know by now, I was a sign carver to the stars. I used to be a member of the Country Music Association, and because of that, I was able to associate with a lot of country music stars. And I decided way back early that I'd kind of like to make signs for country music stars and have them autograph one for me for a collection. So one of the one of my very favorites, I'll show you a sign that I made for Dolly Parton. And I never did give it to her, but this is a sign that I made for her. And because I had about, have you got that?
Yeah, hang on. I'm going to zoom in on it just a tad here.
And because I had about 3 weeks before she was going to appear at the concert that I was going to go to give this sign to her, I decided that it wasn't quite good enough. It was a nice sign, but it wasn't quite good enough. So the one I finally gave her was like this, except that I had a mass of flowers all the way around her name. It wasn't just like this. It was literally flowers like this all the way around her name, and then her name was kind of arched in the center. And so consequently, I kept this one. I never did give it to her. She never did even know about it. And the one that I gave her, I gave her the one I just described. And then I took this with me when I went to the concert and had her sign it for me. Now I'm going to turn it around, and
what's it say on her signature there,
I'll tell you in a
oh,
minute.
Okay.
But if you can zoom in on the back of this, it has the tickets to her show, and it has the date of January 16th, 1977, which is a few years ago. And this was a pass that I used to get backstage. And on the sign it says, "To Dave, with love, Dolly Parton."
Okay.
Thank you. Maybe you can zoom in on that.
I was zooming in on it a little bit before. I can see there's something there. Kind of tough. Oh yeah, I can see that. "To Dave with love, Dolly Parton." Thank you. Yeah, I can read it.
Okay, well if you can read it, the camera can probably read it.
Probably better than me, yeah.
So anyway, after her concert, I got in touch with her manager through some of my contacts in Nashville, and they said sure. They didn't know what it was all about. Said if I had a gift for Dolly, they'd make sure that I got in to see her. So after the show, her manager came out and signaled to me that I was to follow her. Her manager, her road manager, was a female, and I was to follow her back to the bus. So I went back to the bus, and I got on the bus, and I sat down, and Dolly was sitting in a booth on her bus, just absolutely gorgeous. And the manager introduced me, and she said, "Hi, Dave, how are you?" And I said, "I have something for you, Dolly." And I gave her sign, and she looked at it, and she said, "My goodness, that's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen." And I remember just like it was yesterday, and this has been 40-some years ago. And I said, "Dolly, if that's the most beautiful thing you've ever seen, you haven't been looking in any mirrors lately." And she just got such a big, huge smile, and she said, "You're from the South, ain't you?" And I said, "No, ma'am, I'm from Oregon." And she said, "Well, you sure talk like you're from the South." And so we sat there, and she asked me a few questions about how I did it and what I did. And I spent like 10 or 15 minutes with her. And then her manager came over, and she said, Dolly said, people are waiting outside to get autographs. And Dolly said, "Okay." She said, "Excuse me, Dave." Said, "I got to sign some autographs." Said, "If you're going to be around, I'll talk to you later. If not, thank you very much." And I said, "Well, Dolly, I'm going to take off. I'll leave you to do what you do." And that's the thing about Dolly and her autographs. Years ago, when she was first starting out, when she was on tour, like when I met her, she would spend up to 2 hours right outside of her bus, just saying hello and signing autographs for people. There could be a crowd of 1,000 people out there, and she, like a few others, not too many others, a few, Ernest Tubb was one that would stay there till the last person was gone. Didn't matter how long it took. I'll tell you a little bit about Ernest Tubb later on when I show you a picture of the sign that I made for him. But Dolly was just great. She would stay as long as she needed to stay to sign autographs for her fans, and that's she felt like her fans were what built her and give her following, and so that's the way she was. So that's just a memory that I have of Dolly, and I've made other signs for her. I made a sign for her family, but that's another story for another time. So that's just that's a trip down Dave's memory lane for this time. Just me and Dolly. See you next time.